Welcome to Psycho Rift. Please consider subscribing. It's free and supports us in bringing you even more captivating stories. Thank you. Story 1. The Midnight Revelation That Shattered My World. I'm 35 and my husband, Mike, is 37. We've been married for almost 10 years and our lives had fallen into a comfortable rhythm. Work, friends, occasional date nights, and quiet weekends. I thought we were the picture of stability and contentment, but there was something under the surface that I only saw when I was forced to look. One night, I was lying in bed waiting for Mike to come up. He'd stayed downstairs, saying he wanted to watch a late game. After a while, I fell asleep, only to wake up thirsty in the early hours of the morning. I headed downstairs to get some water, and as I passed through the living room, I noticed a faint light, a phone screen flashing. It was Mike's phone, left on the armrest of the couch. I don't know why, but I picked it up, thinking I'd bring it upstairs. That's when I saw the text, "I can't wait to see you again." My heart started pounding, and my hands shook. It was from a woman named Emma, a name I didn't recognize. I opened the message thread, unable to stop myself. What I found was a horrifying window into a secret life my husband had been leading for months. Messages filled with flirty texts, promises of future plans, and photos from locations he'd said he was working late. They had even met at a beachside hotel a few weekends prior. He told me it was a business retreat. I remembered that weekend. I'd been so proud of him for working so hard. I was in a daze, barely able to process the betrayal I was seeing in front of me. I don't remember climbing the stairs, but the next thing I knew, I was waking him up, confronting him with every ounce of hurt and anger inside me. He looked stunned, and at first he tried to deny it. But as I held up his phone, his expression crumbled. He admitted it, saying he felt lost and hadn't meant for it to go so far. Mike cried, begged, and promised it was over. But now, I'm left with a decision I never thought I'd face. How do you move forward when everything you thought you knew is ripped away in an instant? Do I fight for our marriage or walk away from a decade spent building a life with someone I thought I could trust? Every part of me feels broken, but somehow, I know this is only the beginning. Story 2. The unexpected phone bill that tore our lives apart. I'm 42, and my wife, Sarah, is 40. We've been married for over 15 years and have 2 children, ages 12 and 8. For years, I believed we were a solid team, balancing family life, careers, and the inevitable stresses that come with both. I trusted her with everything. My heart, my hopes, my future. But a single piece of paper changed everything. One afternoon, I was paying bills and noticed an unusually high charge on our cell phone bill. I looked closer and saw dozens of calls and messages to a number I didn't recognize. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. This was our family phone bill. We usually only talk to each other, family, or close friends. I searched the number online, but it led nowhere. My gut told me to investigate further. So that evening, while Sarah was showering, I checked her phone. Finding the password was easy. I'd known it for years. But what I found there shattered me. A series of messages to a man named Tom, someone she'd reconnected with from her past. The messages weren't just flirty. They were explicit, describing feelings she hadn't shared with me in years. They talked about secret meetings in the middle of the day, intimate encounters when I thought she was at the gym or running errands. My heart was pounding in my chest as I realized the scope of her betrayal. When she came out of the shower, I confronted her immediately. She looked stunned, then ashamed. She confessed, telling me she'd felt disconnected and that it just happened. She said she loved me, that she was sorry, that she wanted to fix things for the kids. But as I stood there, I realized I was seeing a stranger. The days since have been a haze of pain, anger, and endless questions. She says she wants to go to therapy to try to rebuild, but I don't know if I can ever see her the same way. Our lives, our family, have been torn apart, and I'm left wondering if anything we had was ever real. Story 3. The lost receipt that exposed her hidden affair. I'm 30, and my fiancée, Laura, is 28. We'd been together for almost 5 years, and we're in the midst of planning our wedding. I thought we were happy, deeply in love, and looking forward to our future together. But everything I thought I knew was thrown into question by a single piece of paper. It started innocently enough. One morning, while cleaning up, I found a crumpled receipt in Laura's jacket pocket. It was from a fancy restaurant, dated a few nights ago, a night when she told me she was out with some friends. I didn't think much of it at first, but something nagged at me. Why hadn't she mentioned dinner at such a nice place? When I asked her casually about her evening, she seemed nervous, fumbling over her words. My suspicion grew, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Later that night, while she was asleep, I looked through her phone and found exactly what I feared: messages to her ex-boyfriend, a man she had dated years before we met. They were intimate, confessional, talking about old times and how she missed the thrill of those days. They had been meeting up in secret, even spending nights together while I thought she was out with friends. I felt my world collapse as I read through the messages, my heart breaking with every line. The next morning, I confronted her. She broke down, saying it was a mistake and that she'd been confused. She begged me not to call off the wedding, promising that it would never happen again. But I don't know if I can ever truly trust her again. The woman I loved, the future I envisioned, now feels like a lie. Can a love survive something like this? Or am I destined to live with the shadow of her betrayal? Story 4. The hidden folder that revealed her double life. I'm 39, and my wife, Lisa, is 36. We've been together for almost 2 decades, married for 14 years. From the outside, we look like the perfect couple, happy, stable, and committed, but the truth was hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. One evening, I was backing up family photos from our vacation. Lisa had mentioned that she'd saved some on her computer, so I decided to transfer them. While scrolling through her files, I stumbled upon a hidden folder. It was labeled simply Work Trips, which struck me as odd. Curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked it open. What I saw sent me into a state of shock. Photos of her with another man at romantic spots, restaurants, beaches, even a ski trip I'd been told was a business conference. She looked happy, carefree, in a way I hadn't seen in years. The timestamps matched nights and weekends she'd said she was away for work. The realization that she had been leading a double life hit me like a punch to the gut. That night, I confronted her, barely able to hold back my rage. At first, she tried to deny it, but the evidence was undeniable. She broke down, admitting to the affair, saying she felt trapped, unfulfilled, and didn't know how to tell me. She begged for forgiveness, saying she wanted to make things right, to stay together for the sake of our family. But how do you forgive someone who has betrayed you on such a profound level? How do I trust her when every business trip might be a lie? I'm torn between the life we've built and the truth of her betrayal, wondering if it's even possible to rebuild from something so deeply painful. Our marriage, once my bedrock, is now a question mark.